and gentlemen, I am L.
I am the Seat of Kings. You are witness to a momentous occasion in the spirit of debate. We got a good one for you. A versus battle, as it were, between
Byakuya Kuchiki
and the great dog demon Sesshomaru.
I will be debating on behalf of Byakuya Kuchiki.
I have the luxury of debating on behalf of Sesshomaru.
And now we got that out of the way, starting off with Byakuya Kuchiki. Byakuya comes from the Soul Society, and he is a nobleman from the clan Kuchiki. And he is the 28th head of the Kuchiki clan, and was said to be the strongest of the clan's history. And also, he is the captain of Squad 6 of the Soul Society, and is claimed to be the most famous Soul Reaper, captain of all the Soul Society. And being a Soul Reaper captain, Byakuya has a large variety of skills that he has in his arsenal, like being a master swordsman. He has the ability of the flash step. It's a extremely fast movement that it's almost like hard for the human eye can see. Byakuya is a master tactician. He is highly perceptive fighter, almost immediately determining an opponent's attack pattern and weaknesses. He is crafty tactician, effectively using Kido to confuse his enemies. Byakuya is a Kido master. Kido are spiritual techniques that are used for offense and defensive properties in a battle. And some of the Kido techniques that Byakuya is known for using is Bakudo 61, Rikajikoro, Bakudo 63, Soja Sabaku, and Bakudo 81, Danku. Bakudo is the way of binding, and it uses for Kido that binds your opponent. Some of Byakuya's offensive techniques are Hados. Hados are attacks that are used for only offense. Some of the specialties that Byakuya uses are Hado 4, Byakuya, number 33, Soja Sokatsui, and number 73, Soren Sokatsui, which is a stronger version of Sokatsui number 33. Byakuya is also skilled in hand-to-hand combat called Hakuda. Byakuya is highly proficient in this area. It's a stealth hand-to-hand combat style. Byakuya can also store enormous amounts of high spiritual pressure, to where that if you're not strong enough, the weight of the spiritual pressure will just crush you. Byakuya is a very resilient fighter. During his fight against Ichigo, despite gaining several injuries, Byakuya continued fighting effectively, even ignoring his wounds, to the point where he seemed unfazed by them. Byakuya, fighting Sesshomaru, willingly damaged himself to escape from his enemy's possession, cutting the ligaments in his left arm and left leg, and he continued to fight as though unaffected and beat him. But if Byakuya ever gets in trouble really bad, he'll use his technique that he learned from Yoruichi, Stealth Koho Shiho Uchisemi. It is a technique that allows great speeds, leaving an afterimage behind. Although Byakuya has these techniques at his disposal, his great power comes when he uses his Zanbato, Zenbon Zakura. And it has two forms to it. And the first would be a Shikai, Zenbon Zakura. When Byakuya says scatter, Zenbon Zakura scatters into 1,000 cherry blossoms that are just like hard for anyone to really see. Byakuya can control the blade fragments, allowing him to shred opponents at a distance and break through about almost any defense. The blades can be used for defensive purposes. During Byakuya's training with the Zero Squad, he obtained a finer understanding of his Shikai, granting him greater control and ability to form more solid constructs at an even greater scale. And the next level of his Zanbato is called a Bankai, Senbon Zakura Kageyoshi. It is where about 50 large blades come from the ground and then scatter into 100 million blades all around. It has a great offense along with unpenetrable defense, or that it's basically versatile all around. And when Byakuya moves his hands, they become much faster. Byakuya's Bankai has different techniques along with it. The first is Senkei, Zenbon Zakura Kageyoshi, to where that all of the 100 million blades surround the user and the enemy in a dome-like form, to where that all the blades are just dancing all around them. Byakuya can mentally control the blades and also call them to his hand if he needs them. Ika Senkinja is the second technique. Byakuya attacks a single target with all of his Senkei blades at once, fitting to Senkei, focusing solely on offense. It is Senbon Zakura Kageyoshi's ultimate attack. As for third, you got Gokei. This form increases the number of tiny blade fragments immensely. It creates a spherical formation of uncountable blades fragments which spiral around the opponent like a cloud before flying into them from every possible angle, leaving no blind spots and no possibility of escape. And Byakuya's final technique that he has for his Bankai is Shunkei Octaken, to where that Byakuya risks all of his spiritual power down into one final attack, the way it looks like a pure white wings forming from Byakuya's back, as well as a halo-like circle made of compressed spiritual energy. The wings can be used for flying.
Alright, City Kings, back to kill my portion of this debate. As my brother got done explaining the skills and abilities of Byakuya Kuchiki, it's my turn, breaking down the skills and abilities of my main man, Lord Sesshomaru. Sesshomaru is known as a Daiokai, reserved for only the upper echelon of demons. At 500 years old, few can match this man in combat. Naraku, one of the main antagonists in the entire show, once said, Naraku, the main antagonist of the entire InuYasha program, who was respected amongst demons throughout the whole feudal era, once said in regards to Sesshomaru that his power is so great, and he also addressed him as a perfect demon, saying that this man is so powerful that even the Shikon Jewel, which is known to increase the power of most demons, would not have any effect on him just because of his great venerable power as a Daiokai Great Dog Demon. Due to his great combination of keen intellect, physical strength, speed, endurance, durability, and different things as such. Now, I'm going to break down his skills and abilities and saying this. He has a great keen intellect. He has the ability to come to correct conclusions when given mystery on a quest for power, with getting a basic understanding of a situation. Example of this was he was able to correctly break down key details in a battle involving the Band of Seven that happened hours before just with his keen sense of smell. Sesshomaru has also shown immunities or resistance to deadly toxins, gases, and diseases, as well as spiritual energies. Once catching a sacred arrow with his bare hand, which would normally severely injure or kill a lesser demon, or also has the ability to purify a demon. In flight, he has immense speed on the ground and in the air, moving faster than the eye can see and perceive without much exertion, like a blur. Also, with great feats of strength, Sesshomaru's younger brother InuYasha, a lesser half-demon, lifted a 10 to 9 ton boulder with one arm with little effort. It's likely that Sesshomaru can lift 2 times that amount due to his strength and power as a full-fledged, not only demon, but Daiokai demon, which we have established is much stronger and greater than a half-demon, let alone a full-fledged demon. With enhanced senses, particularly his sense of smell, he is able to discern details from a battle that has transpired a much greater distance away. Teleportation. This is achieved through transforming himself into a light orb, easily escaping trouble. You don't want to see this man's hands, literally. His poison claws make him a hand-to-hand combat marvel. With acidic poison gas released from his hands, as well as his claws, or hands, liquefying flesh and bone on contact. The fur on his right shoulder can extend to be used as a whip or fling enemies. A light whip comprised of energy. This whip is as dangerous as puncturing armor, burn flesh on contact, or is harmless enough to catch fallen allies or yank someone out of harm's way to ill effect. This man is also shown to have high-speed regeneration. In battle, he can recover from large gashes, burns, and large stab wounds in his body. Though he was able to regrow his arm, it is completely unknown if this was just a one-time thing accompanied by the creation of his sword Bakusaiga. This man also possesses a true Daiokai form. There's only 1 or 2 differences in the form. Sesshomaru can take more punishment in this larger form by turning into a giant dog-like demon. Sesshomaru can take more punishment in this form, and he has psionic ability, able to fling and hurl and manipulate objects through telekinetics. Sesshomaru has possessed 3 different swords throughout the show InuYasha, but 2 of them I'll mainly be discussing. One of them being Tenseiga, the Heavenly Fang of Rebirth. It's an heirloom that was passed down by his father. However, this sword cannot kill living things, making this sword useless in the eyes of Sesshomaru at first. The ability of Tenseiga, it has the ability to resurrect the dead and heal the wounded, able to bring back 100 beings back to life with one swing. Purification. Tenseiga can purify dead souls of their sins that were sent to the underworld. Now, it can slay beings such as spirits, ghosts, hellhounds, the undead, and other creatures that are native of the underworld. So I guess in some respects it can kill. However, if I may retract that same statement by following up with this as well. The Medo Zangetsuha is also an offensive attack, which is the only real offensive attack that it really possesses. In that it's an offensive attack that when swung by the stroke of this sword, it can send whomever it touches to hell. Purification is also another ability that Tenseiga possesses. It can purify dead souls of their sins that were sent to the underworld as well. A protective barrier. This surrounds the master if his life is in danger, and it can teleport its master a great distance to safety. Upon an enemy's attempt at managing to inflict a fatal blow. This sword also grants its master access to the netherworld via the border of afterlife, which is accessed by merely drawing out the sword. Now I'm going to discuss the Bakusaiga, which is the sword of all swords. The second sword that Sesshomaru obtained during the final act, InuYasha, the final act, which could also be known as the sword of all swords, or maybe the key factor to win this debate. The Bakusaiga, translated explosive crushing fang, created from Sesshomaru's own body, taking on the appearance of a katana with various rune-like lines running along it with a beige hilt in appearance. Bakusaiga's primary ability is to decompose any organic material that the blade cuts. Once cut, the target becomes infected with destruction that disintegrates the main body and nullifies any regeneration properties that the target may have had. This remaining destruction continues to spread any organic matter that comes in contact with the original target, making this attack like a virus that spreads quickly. The Yoki Wave is an explosive blast of green colored light energy that can destroy 1,000 of demons within one swing. This was confirmation, letting me know that by the end of the series of InuYasha, the final act, that Sesshomaru has surpassed his father. Sesshomaru is able to slay 1,000, 10 times the amount of demons with one stroke.
And now we're going to be discussing why we think that our guys will become victorious in this battle. I think that Byakuya will win this battle because he has overcome really tough battles and through that persevered through some of the toughest injuries. For example, he actually fought against a clone version of Teshiro Itagaya, the captain of Squad 10, and he ended up fighting him and overcoming him. And also, after he fought against the clone of Teshiro, he ended up fighting against the clone of himself. So at the end, it was Byakuya versus Byakuya. And the clone of Byakuya was actually supposed to be stronger, but then he ended up overcoming the clone of himself and defeating him to where that, as soon as that happened, he ended up continuing on to fight another battle. He overcame 2 captain level enemies and continued fighting on. That actually takes some endurance and some major stamina. Also, in the 1,000-Year Blood War, Byakuya ended up receiving an injury from Asnot, and then later on ended up getting trained by the Zero Squad and became much more stronger. The word that Byakuya ended up mastering is Shikai to a degree, the word that it was just as strong as his Bankai. And he went on to fight against 5 captain level enemies at the same time and defeating all of them. And that was not actually individually, it was at the same time. And with Byakuya's abilities at his disposal, I really think that Sesshomaru would actually have a tough time even think about trying to take this guy down. To me, I think that Byakuya has so many techniques that where you can actually use against Sesshomaru that he wouldn't probably be able to counteract them, as he is a Kido master along with being a master tactician and a master swordsman. Like Bakudo 61, Rika Jikoro is one of his specialties, which ends up having a light ring around their opponent or that and immobilizes them where he wouldn't be able to move. Along with Bakudo 63, Soja Sabaku, where they ends up trapping him in some light chains and end up ensnaring him also. When Sesshomaru tries to strike him, he'll use Bakudo 81, Danku, as a protective barrier that prevents damages from reaching them. along with his Bankai Zenbon Sakura Kageyoshi, where there's like 100 million blades flying around, where they end up using for offense and defense, where if there's incoming strikes, he'll be able to shield himself with all of his blades. But if there's a chance to where that Sesshomaru does actually get a slice in on them, he would just only use Stealth Koho Shiho Uchisemi, a technique that he learned from Yoruichi, where that he was able to increase his speed so fast where that leaves an after image of himself just by taking off part of his clothing. Now I'm talking about the deadliest techniques that Byakuya can use in order to finish Sesshomaru off. So it is Gokei Zenbon Sakura Kageyoshi. It is where the enemy is surrounded by 100 billion blades circling around it in a spiral sphere. It covers all the blind spots of the sphere, and there's like no way to escape. Those hundreds upon billions of blades will strike you all at once, leaving no possible way of defense. And his ultimate attack is Kika Senjuka. It is where Byakuya uses all of his Senkei blades that he has when he goes into Senkei Zenbon Sakura Kageyoshi, where that all of those 100 million blades fly at you at the same time. And no matter how fast you are, you cannot dodge 100 million blades coming at you at once. And that is why I think that Byakuya would be able to overcome Sesshomaru in this battle. And now I hand it off to the Seat of Kings.
With this handoff, I see nothing but green in front of me, on my way to pay dirt for a touchdown in this debate right here. You know, there's a major difference between quantity and quality. With quality, you tend to be a master of every ability and skill that you have. Though both quality and quantity still have versatility, quality allows you to be a jack of all trades and actually a master of all. But quality to me, though, allows you to have a well-versed arsenal, is an attempt to make up for your shortcomings and the lack of talent that you have by comparison to your opponent with physical gifts and talent. Okay, so we know from a physical standpoint that Sesshomaru far exceeds Byakuya Kuchiki. He's stronger, faster, quicker, sharper, more precise, which would explain his lack of quantity of arsenal. And that which I say, do what you do, and what you do best. As I mentioned before, Sesshomaru is the perfect fighter. You see, we're not even talking about a battle without the swords, because if we were talking a battle without the swords, Sesshomaru would murder Byakuya Kuchiki. Every physical stat has far exceeded Byakuya Kuchiki. You can go from strength, but because this is not what the argument's about, I'm going to get into why I believe Sesshomaru would beat Byakuya Kuchiki. Sesshomaru's sword of Tenseiga alone, I believe, would be enough to defeat Byakuya Kuchiki. The Tenseiga, it kills non-living organisms, such as spirits, which is what Byakuya Kuchiki is. Now, Sesshomaru has the ability in a battle to strike down an enemy. Now, I believe he would, if he was to land a fatal blow with the Tenseiga, battle was over, clinched, with Sesshomaru coming away the victor. Now, this sword would be the perfect tool of getting the job done in this battle. And also, I would also say the protective barrier that the Tenseiga also possess. Now, this will surround its master in this battle. It'll defend him against the Zenbone Zakura Kageyoshi or any other abilities of the Zanpakuto, I believe. Because one of the key weaknesses of Byakuya's Zanpakuto would be he has also the one attack that the Tenseiga does have that can kill would also be the Meido Zangetsu, which is that though it would have to make contact with Byakuya, once it touches him, it sends any part of him straight to hell.
And this other sword, the Bakusaiga. Now this sword is what I would
consider to be something like a trump card, in that with one fell swoop it can decompose any organic material or substance, or I'm even say attack, because I believe that the Zanpakuto would be organic because it's a living sword. Once it strikes the blades, it would make its way to the original master, and if it touches the original master, it will continue to decompose and spread and destroy everything that it touches. Even if it doesn't touch Byakuya, if it touches the blades, the tiny blades, it will make its way through all of the blades, destroying them, and the battle is all but over. But that's assuming that these blades are indeed alive and are organic, but I'm assuming they are just because I believe them to be organic, so living. Between the decomposition ability of this sword and the Yoki Wave Energy Blast, I believe this sword to be the trump card or key to win this battle. We know that Sesshomaru can use his poison claws either as a gas that releases from his fingers, or he could use it as when he strikes his opponent, this poison substance has a great chance of killing Byakuya Kuchiki. Now also I would also want to mention that with Sesshomaru's keen senses as well as keen intellect, I don't believe using anything where you're using an after image, you're using tricks, or you're using any type of illusions on him would make a difference. Because of his sense of smell, he would know which one would be the real you. An after image would not trick him. Now to wrap up what I'm saying in my debate of why I believe Sesshomaru would beat Byakuya Kuchiki, I want to say this, that Sesshomaru is known as a perfect fighter, man.
And now we're going to leave it up to you guys to decide who wins this battle. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, maybe leave a comment down below, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe leave it a like, and subscribe for more versus videos like this to come. Also, in the end, Byakuya wins. Got him!